Engage Elections, a how-to guide. This is episode 3 of Managing Your Student Organization Virtually. Student organization officers have access to create and manage an election process through their Engage organization page. Using the Manage Organization view, officers can access their toolbar, which includes an Elections tab. By clicking on Elections, you can then use the blue Create Election button to create your own election. For the purpose of this tutorial, we've created an example election. When creating an election, there are two components that you have to prepare to complete. That includes the election's properties as well as determining your ballots. The properties of an election include the name, the election status, which we recommend leaving that inactive until you're ready to publish the election, optional instructions, the start date and time, as well as your end date and time. The elections properties also allows you to limit the election to members of your Engage organization roster. Once you have set your properties, you can then create your ballot. Using the button to create your ballot, you will be able to decide the level of access for this election. It is recommended that everyone enable general access for your elections. If you have questions about this, you can contact Lauren Cotant at ldhobbs@uab.edu. Once you've created your ballot, you would then see it appear here in a list. So for example, we've created 3 ballots. We'll take a look at the president ballot. Within each ballot, you have the option to include editable fields. Here, we have used a radio button list to enable participants to select one answer to the question. Once you've created the ballots that you want to include on the election, your election is ready to publish. Use the tab Publishing Options to access an election link that you can share out with your general body or other students that you want to participate in this election process. You can also elect whether or not to display an alert on the organization's homepage when the election is active and voting is open. Once you do so and have shared your election, you will be able to access your results from the same Elections tab. The results will show up per ballot. So here we can see in the President 2020 ballot, there has been 1 voter. You're going to see which vote they placed. You can export your ballot votes. This would export specifically what you're seeing here, or you can export all voters. This will provide you with the name of the individuals who voted as well as their Blazer ID. It will not, however, show you who they voted for. It is important to remember that access determines who can see your election results. For example, by going to your toolbar and accessing your roster, you can see what individuals you have given management access as an officer. Using the Manage Positions button, you can determine if they should or should not have access to your election. For example, if you've assigned the Community Service Chair position to a member of your organization, you want to ensure first, by scrolling to the bottom of this screen, that they have limited access, which we can see here that they do. Secondly, you want to ensure that their elections access is none. If you want to give someone access to your elections, you would change this to View for an individual who should be able to view the results, or Full for an individual who you believe should be able to both view the results as well as edit the election process. We hope this how-to guide has been helpful to you and your organization as you move your operations to a virtual online environment. We hope that Engage Elections will support any upcoming election processes you have for your leadership teams or general membership.